Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery kits. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, and it's a time where we can relax and craft together for about an hour. And we work on projects from beginning to end, so you can be part of the whole entire process. You can make it with me, whatever project we're working on, and ask questions along the way and chit-chat. So tonight we're going to continue on the Splendid Sampler 2. We have the Splendid Sampler 2 book, and we're doing Full Circle by Missy Carpenter. So this is the block that we're currently working on. We are going to do some English paper piecing of the little triangles today. And I think we're going to get a little further than that, so we'll see. I did read a little further in the instructions, and it is not what I was expecting for this block. There's actually a bit of applique, so this is definitely a new process for me, how the designer is doing this block. So I think it's going to be a little interesting. So first we have to do some English paper piecing, and then we will work on the unexpected step, the part that I thought this whole thing was maybe going to be English paper piecing, but it's a little applique, a little English paper piecing, so we'll just follow the directions exactly how they're saying. So, all right, I'm going to flip you around, and let's get started tonight. Thanks for joining me, everyone. Nice seeing y'all pop in. All right. Here's my mess of fabric, my instructions right there, and right here we're going to sit for the night. We're going to do some English paper piecing. So where we left off, we were kind of checking it out what it was going to look like on that teal fabric here. And then, the outside of this is going to be, we're going to do it on the white fabric. So it's actually going to be kind of like this when we're done. I always kind of like checking out how it might look along the way here. So what we're going to do, the first step, so this is we're starting the next section of the block. If you're following along with the book, we're going to start the assembly and applique. So to start out, we need to sew these little triangles together. So I'm going to do it how they show it here. They have, first of all, let's just isolate the deals. So remember, we had that yellow, they call it the yellow fabric. What we've used is this. So there's two fabrics that are the same, and then the rest are all different. So from the picture, it looks like they have one of the, doubled up fabrics here, and then the next one they have down here. So I just kind of grabbed these and I just grabbed these fabrics. I don't know, we can decide where we want these, but I think that's probably fine. We're being random, but they had these at these two corners, so on the right side and then the left side. So it looks like we're gonna English paper piece. We'll do two pieces, and then we'll do the third piece to that. And then we'll do the other half of this hexagon. We'll do those two pieces, then this one, and then we'll sew those together. And in the instructions, she had, remember we only folded over two sides. All the sides with that extra seam allowance that we didn't fold over, those are all going to be on the outside. So an easy way to remember that is like these little dog ears. Those will all go towards the inside. So like that. And I'm going to just leave this here like that because then it'll be easier for me to just see what we're doing here. So I'm going to take the thread off of my sewing machine. I'm going to use the 50 weight. This is just that Aurifil thread, the 50 weight Aurifil thread. This is what we've been sewing the whole thing with. I know for English paper piecing and some hand piecing, some people like using 80 weight thread. I have not used that before, but 80 weight thread is even a little bit thinner than this. 50 weight's pretty thin, but 80 weight's even thinner. But I'm going to use this 50 weight. I'm also going to use these Milner's needles or straw needles. I got some new ones because my last ones, I bent the needle so much from using it. So these are the size 11 John James Milner's needles. They're also sometimes called straw needles. So let's open these up and grab a new one of these. You know, I knew I used either size 10 or size 11, and I think these 11s are looking pretty good. So the higher the number of the needle, the smaller, the thinner it is. So I have another, I got this one by accident first. These are some larger ones. So you can see like this big one right in the middle, that's a size 3. So look at, you know, the difference between a size 3 and a size 11. I mean, that's pretty big compared to this size 11 one. So anyway, we're using size 11. I like it because it's just really thin. And straw needles, well, I like it because it's thin, and that'll make it easier to just catch the little edge and not put big holes in our hand stitching. And it's a straw needle or milliner's needle, which means it's just a little bit longer than a normal size needle. Like a normal size needle, a universal needle might only be like, or a universal, or a sharps needle, that's kind of typically what they're called, a sharps. Sometimes they would only be this long, but this one we got a little extra ½ inch on there. So that's gonna it's just easier to handle for all of this English paper piecing. Ooh, I kind of use my wool mat as a little pin cushion there. Oh yeah, so we can use a ladder stitch or a whip stitch. I actually kind of like the whip stitch. A ladder stitch, you can, with a ladder stitch, you're gonna not see the thread as much. So I think that's a lot of reasons why people like a ladder stitch. Well, I'll show you both of them. I personally like the whip stitch. I kind of like what it looks like on the front. You can see the little stitches. But we'll do this first one a whip stitch, and then we'll do the second one a ladder stitch. So all right, we need to like just pay attention to the points to start out with. So this point here needs to match up with that point there. So that's kind of our landmark. That's where we're gonna start. So again, remember I have the two seam allowances that aren't folded over. I have those towards the outside. I want to stitch this edge right here. So I'm going to put right sides together. And I'm going to try and match up those two little points right there. Oh, and you know what? I'm going to grab one of my little wonder clips. So I like clipping these together. If you have one of these wonder clips, you can also use like a little binder clip. I find that if you clip them together, first of all, it holds everything in place super duper well, and I think it eases the pressure on my hands a little bit. So all right, I have not tied a knot in here at all. We're going to try using that knicker knot. So it's a special little knot to start out for English paper piecing, but I'm just going to, this dog ear, I'm going to just move that out of my way. It's not going to bother anyone. And I'm going to go put the needle from, I go bottom to top. Some people like top to bottom, but I go bottom to top through the little corner, the two corners of our triangle there. And I'm just kind of catching a couple little threads on there. So just, 2-3 threads on either side. And you should be able to kind of feel the template piece in there. So let's see. I got to remember if I can. I always kind of have to look up the knicker knot, and I didn't do that this time. So let's see if I can do it. So I'm going to just leave a little bit of an end here, and I'm going to go through one more time halfway. Okay, so for the knicker knot, we're going to do this twice. So we have the part of the thread that's coming out of the fabric right here. And then we have the part of the thread that's hooked onto our needle. So that's like the two little threads that's going through the eye of the needle. I'm going to take the one that's coming out of the fabric, and I'm going to go around back of the needle and then to the front from right to left. And then I'm going to just hold it in place with my thumb there. Then I'm going to take the part that's going from in the eye of the needle, and I'm going to go around back again, but I'm going to go left to right. And I'm going to kind of just hold that down here as well. And now I'm going to pull the needle the rest of the way through. And supposedly this makes like a tighter little knot. As you pull on it, it might make like a little kind of figure 8 a little bit. I think it's a knot with an extra little twist in. I think that's what it does. So there we go. And that's our knicker knot. That's how I'm starting the row. And then, you know, the rest of this can just dangle for now. So I like the whip stitch. I'm going to do the whip stitch by going, again, from bottom to top. I'm going to go like a stitch length away. So maybe, I don't know, I'm going like a 1/16 inch away. And I'm going bottom to top. Ooh, I just stabbed myself. Oh, that's always fun. So bottom to top, and there's my first stitch. And I'm going to just keep going bottom to top. So a stitch length away and bottom to top. And again, I'm just grabbing those couple little threads of the fabric on both sides. And luckily, I don't have to hold too hard with my fingers because I do have it clipped there. Okay, bottom to top. We're just going to go this whole length. Bottom to top, bottom to top, bottom to top. The trick is you just start on the same side and end up on the same side every single time. Otherwise, it's a different stitch, and I'll show you the ladder stitch later. We've got a little knot in my thread. That's a little bit different. So sometimes for the whip stitch, people like going top to bottom, and that's fine. You just got to keep going top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom. I'm going the other direction, bottom to top. And we just cruise along to the end. So a lot of times with English paper piecing, I'll be folding over all of the edges. So for this particular block, we didn't fold over the last edge, so I'm not quite sure how far to stitch this. Normally I would just stitch till the end of the template piece, but I'm wondering if I need to go a little further into it. Oh my God, you just had an earthquake there in Georgia? Gretchen, that's scary. Ugh, see, I've never experienced an earthquake. That freaks me out. Ugh, well, stay safe. All right, so I think I'm gonna go a little bit into the end. You stitched to the bottom. Oh, you tried the reverse. Oh, you stitched top to bottom. Oh, but you can't get it. Oh, yeah, it's just do what feels right. There's no right and wrong. At least I don't think so. And if there is, who cares? So I'm just going, I'm going bottom to top. But yeah, whatever feels best in your hand, do that. All right, I think I'm close to the end. It looks like I folded over a little bit. Yeah, I folded over a little bit there with my clip. I don't really need the clip anymore because it's all held together with my stitches. Oh yeah, I'm not quite to the top yet. I got a couple more stitches here. Actually, I think this one's probably good. I'll do one more into the seam allowance just because I'm not sure if we should go into the seam allowance or not. All right, so I'm going to do that knicker knot at the end now. So I'm going to go through my fabric and I'm going to leave the needle halfway through again. And so the part that's connected to the fabric, I'm going around back to the right to the left, and then the part that's connected to the eye of the needle, both threads, I'm going to go around back, but from left to right. There we go, and then pull that through again. There's that little figure 8 happening there. And that is that. And so now I'll snip those little threads. I don't need a ton of thread there. I'll snip this one down here as well. And this is our first English paper piecing segment together. So we can fold that back and we are attached. So the next one we'll try the ladder stitch, and you guys can try what you want and see what you like better. You can see with the whip stitch you do get a few little stitches. I think I've heard people do a whip stitch where they grab the thread a little further back and then maybe they don't see the stitches, but I kind of like seeing the stitches. Then I know it's English paper pieced and I can see like the hand a little bit, but I kind of like seeing them. So anyway, let's get the next piece on. So again, I'm doing that dog ear, so all the dog ears meet. And it's not really about the dog ears meeting, it's about having these little extra seam allowances that we didn't fold over. Those should all be on the outside. So all right, again, our kind of landmark is this point up front. So I want to match kind of all three of these points now. So right sides together. Let's match those points. best we can here. All right, and I'm going to clip it again just to take some pressure off my hands a little bit. There we are. Okay, same deal. Oh, but I'm going to do a ladder stitch now. So I use a ladder stitch a lot when I'm making stuffed animals because with stuffed animals, you want to be able, well, the neat thing about a ladder stitch is I can do a bunch of stitches and then pull them tight all at once. So it's nice for stuffed animals because if they're stuffed really fat, you can just go through the opening a few times using the ladder stitch and then pull it all really tight. The ladder stitch in this case, I suppose we could do a few stitches at once, but more so the ladder stitch in this case will help make a more invisible front. Let's do that knicker knot again. I personally don't like it as much, but just because it's a little harder on my hands. We're a little twisty here tonight. So I'm just using that same thread. I had enough on the needle to do another bit. So all right, I'm going to do the knicker knot. So halfway through there and around back, right to left, and then the other thread around back, left to right. Pull through. There we are. Okay. So for a ladder stitch, what we're going to do, instead of going vertical from top to bottom or bottom to top, I am going to go from, we're going to go in horizontal. So we're going to go, well, parallel, I suppose, to our two pieces instead of perpendicular to our pieces like we did with the whip stitch. So I'm going to go on the bottom side, and I'm going to start kind of where my knot is, and I'm going to make a stitch in the fabric, like a stitch, like, you know, that 1/16, 1/8 inch big stitch right there, but I'm going only in the bottom fabric. So I'm going to pull that through, and then I'm going to go directly across, but on the top fabric. So this thread comes out here. I'm going to go directly across and then go from right to left again and make a stitch just in the top. See, so I'm in the top, directly across where the stitch came off, but then making the stitch in just the top fabric now. And then I'm going to cross over to the bottom fabric again. Just go directly across and then make that stitch. And again to the top, directly across, and make that stitch. So, and with the ladder stitch, I can do a couple stitches before pulling the thread through as well. I'll do that now, but you know, I think with English paper piecing, it doesn't matter so much there. So I'll just do 2 stitches and then I can pull the thread through. So you can do a whole pile of stitches before tightening up your thread. So in theory, that might save a little time. For me, it's just this, I feel like this right to left motion, the like horizontal or the parallel motion versus the perpendicular motion. I don't know. I feel like I have to hold my needle tighter or hold my hand differently. And I think, I don't know. I do a lot of hand work with all this embroidery stuff and with Penguin and Fish. So my hands get fatigued pretty quickly. And so this ladder stitch just fatigues my hand a little bit more. The ladder stitch isn't as secure. Oh, as secure when you do it. Yeah, you know, I kind of feel that way sometimes when I'm using it in different things. I really do like that whip stitch. It's just, it feels right in my hand, basically, I think. But, you know, whatever you want to do, they're both fine. Yeah, when you're done with the ladder stitch, you can just pull all your stitches tight again. And then I'll just, I'm going to do one more, and then we'll do that knicker knot again to kind of hold them all tight and in place. Is this called a blind stitch? I think, tell me if I'm wrong, you guys, but isn't a blind stitch, that's kind of like, that's like a stitch the machine does where it just grabs a little bit from the back. I think it's a little different, a blind stitch. it does, you know, it does come out looking pretty good though. All right, I'm just snipping my little ends again. Yeah, I don't need to snip them. I just don't want tons of thread everywhere. All right, so there we go. So that is the ladder stitch. So here you can see you can't hardly see any stitches at all, or you can't see anything really. Whereas on this side, you can see all of my little stitches there. But again, I kind of like that. So whatever you want to do, either or. I do kind of think when you pull on a ladder stitch, maybe you can see all the stitches a little bit more, like I can kind of see light through there, and I don't know. I kind of like, I suppose I can see light through there too. I don't know. I like my whip stitch. Again, it's just more comfortable in my hand personally, so that's why I like doing it. So, but try either or. They both work. Okay. So that is the top. So let's do the same thing for the bottom here, and then we can sew them together. I think I have enough thread yet here. So let's put our first two together. I'm going to do it this way so I can stitch in the same direction I just was. So again, I'm trying to match up those points and the edge. I'm trying to line up the edges as well. Okay. All right, so I'm going to fold this back and we'll get started. And again, through that point, leaving my little end here. I'll just grab it with my thumb. And we're going through it again, halfway, and the part, knicker knot again, the thread coming out of the fabric here, we're going around back right to left. And the threads coming out of the eye of the needle, we're going around back from left to right, then pulling the needle through, and we should have our knicker knot kind of develop here. There we go. There's that cute little figure eight. Boop. All right. Now let's whip stitch along these two edges, just grabbing a couple little threads of the fabric. And you should be able to, when you're doing this, you should be able to feel the template. Like you'll know when the needles hit the template, and then you might be a little too far in. So just grab a little less amount of fabric on the edge. Oh, you're looking forward to some hand sewing? You know, Suzanne, I don't always use wax on my thread, and it's just usually because I forget. I do have some wax around, but it's super old. You know, people use that thread conditioner stuff, and I've just never used that before. I bet you it would probably help me a lot. I know it kind of coats your thread, and then it doesn't twist up on itself as much. I just, you know, it's something I should try. It's one of those things I just haven't used before, or not very often at least. Oh, you love it. The like thread conditioner. I know that one brand that everyone liked like went out of business or something. I forget what it was called, but I'm sure there's probably some other ones available now on the market. I've also heard that you can just use like oops, sorry, I bumped you guys. You can use just like a chapstick. Like if you have an extra chapstick laying around, you can run it through that. All right, I think I stabbed the template here, so I'm going to just go a little further away. Thread Heaven, yeah, Thread Heaven was the one I think that went out of business that everyone really liked. Yeah, I haven't used it before, but I know people like it. It makes life easier. Yeah, you know, it's just one of those things. I keep thinking, oh, I should give that a try, and then I forget about it. All right, I just lost my needle here. That's the thing. I kind of like having a little longer thread because when it gets shorter, I always accidentally get the thread, lose the thread out of the needle. Oh, you use beeswax, Robin. I think that's kind of what I've been using. Although it's, like I said, it's old and probably not very good. Okay, so I'm going to make that knicker knot again here. I think we've gone far enough. Yeah, my thread's getting all twisty. Oop, jeez. Got away from me. All right, there we are. Scissors. Oh, right in front of me. Okay, that thread's done. All right, there's our first two pieces with that little whip stitch again, and now we just got to get this one on, and then we will connect the two, and we'll have our little hexagon shape. Oof, it's going to be cute. All right, a little more thread. Maybe I'll get enough to try and do the that stitching across bit too. Okay. Thread the needle there. All right, again, remember we need all those, the parts that we didn't fold over, those need to be on the outside per the instructions. Oh, let's go this way again. Okay, matching up those points. All right, let's clip those. Oh, you melt the beeswax and pour them into candy making molds. Ooh, Robin, that's cool. To make your your thread conditioners. For cute. Okay. Let's knicker knot this. Okay, around back, around back. I think I like doing the knicker knot just because it's called a knicker knot. That's just cute. Going through my whip stitch. I may be making my stitches a little small. You can probably do your stitches further apart. Late at night, I tend to get a little bit more finicky and detailed. During the day, I'm better at just saying, meh, this is definitely good enough. I don't have to, why bother doing a little bit more? This is holding it together. At night, I get a little bit more finicky, so my stitches I think get a little smaller, and which isn't a bad thing, but it's just not always necessary. Keep getting caught on all my little dog ears there. I'm going to take the clip off. It's just getting in my way now, and it's being held together by all my stitches now. I don't need the clip to hold it together. Maybe 3 or 4. Oh, so I read a little further, and I think I get the glue part now, Gretchen. I think we might get to that tonight yet. So, like I said at the beginning here, I read further into the instructions, and it is way different than I thought this was going to be. So I thought we were going to English paper piece this whole thing, like we're gonna you know, paper piece this to a circle and all that. That is not how this is going to be. So this block is actually a combo of paper piecing and applique. So we are not paper piecing our little petals to that star shape. We are actually going to applique those petals onto the star shape fabric before it's in the star shape. So, and we're going to just use that star shape template as a guide. So that's way different than I was expecting. I thought we were going to wrap fabric around that star shape and English paper piece it to these shapes, and it was going to be a whole thing of English paper piecing, but it's not. So I've never done that before, like a combo like this, I don't think. So I'm kind of interested in how this next part goes. But, you know, applique in this case is going to be a lot like the English paper piecing that we're doing, I think. Okay, there we go. There's our bottom. So now we have our tops and bottoms done. So next up, I'm going to sew these together, and just, you know, the same way I'm gonna English paper piece these together. And again, we want to get all these points in the middle together. So I'm going to match those up. Let's put right sides together. I'm just going to kind of push the fabric out of the way and try and get all these points kind of in the same spot. I suppose I could kind of start stitching from the middle and out, and then the middle and out. That way it would be like really kind of perfect. But I think instead I'm going to just throw my clip in there and hope that I get close. So, all right, I'm gonna start on the far edge out here, and then we'll stitch towards the middle, try and get all those little center points together, and then keep stitching to the end. I think that's my plan for this. Okay, so I'm gonna start a little outside the edge again, kind of like how I started, or how I did the other pieces. So I'm into that seam allowance now. Okay, let's go around again. Do our knicker knot. It's kind of fun to chill for a little and do some handwork. I do like that. Okay. We'll whip stitch to the middle there, and then we'll try and move all of those dog ears out of the way so we can see the center. But once I get going a little bit here, I won't need that clip anymore because it'll be starting to be held together by these stitches. Oh man, Leslie, and the new needle feels awesome. I bet you I'm already bending it though. I think I might already be bending it a little bit. Doing this English paper piecing, that's how I bent the last needle. I think it's just how I hold my needle. Ooh, got a little knot. How I hold my needle for English paper piecing. But for some reason I'm getting a little something here. Oh, there we go. Got a little knot. Okay. When I get these loopy knots, this is getting really loopy now. This is probably what the thread conditioner would help with. Oh, I think I got a double loopy knot. Oh, there we go. So I have like this knot that it looks like a loop with a knot at the end. Usually what I do is I stick my needle in the loop and kind of pull. One or the other threads will pull that loop so it's right up against the needle, and then at that point it just kind of pops out. So in embroidery and in this sort of stuff, you might see those knots a lot. But yeah, I just stick the needle in the loop, kind of pull the knot towards the loop, and then I'm usually good to go again. But yeah, new needle feels good. It is definitely sharp, sharp, sharp compared to the last one too. So I just feel like I can just cruise through this a little bit. Which is kind of nice. Oh, some of these, yeah. So this is the size 11, and this particular one is, they're these John James Golden Glide Milners. So yeah, these are size 11s. They are super skinny, and they will bend, but you know, you got 10 of them in here. So they are, I put a link to them in the product section on here if you want to check them out. I just got them through Amazon as well. I think they're like $5 or something. For it, or maybe like $4 or something. All right, I'm gonna take this guy off now, and I'm gonna actually just bend these fabrics out of the way just so I can kind of see where all these meet. I mean, it's crazy bulky there. We got a whole pile of things meeting there, but I'm gonna try and grab them all at once, get them all together once I get up over there. But yeah, so I use these needles when we do like needle turn applique and stuff too, which is kind of what we'll be doing here. It'll kind of be like needle turn applique. And those didn't seem to bend my needle at all. It's this paper piecing, English paper piecing that does the needle bending for me. But oh well, I got a lot of use out of that last needle, even if it was super duper bent. Okay, so I'm approaching this little center area with all these points, but remember, I'm kind of stitching this triangle to this triangle, so those are the points that I'm going to look for first, and I can kind of see where those two meet. I'm actually going to kind of pull this one forward a little bit so they meet a little bit better. We're going to do that in 2 stitches. So I'm going to just try and get those two to match. Like we'll go through these 2 points. And then I'm going to kind of try and get through, I'm going to kind of jump to this other side now. I'm going to try and get those 2 points, those 2 corner points to match. And I'm hoping by doing that, we will have all of our, all of our points meet in the middle. See, that's why sometimes I got to pull harder through this, I guess. You know, and sometimes you guys, when I get to connected to a new bit here, sometimes I like to do a knicker knot again. So I'm going to do one right here just to kind of lock that point in place. Actually, usually I do one at the end of the first piece and the beginning of the next piece, but we just did it at the one point there. But all right, now I have these last 2 pieces connected. Let's stitch to the end, and we should have our little hexagon done in the middle. And then we're going to start this applique process. So this is the part that when I read, I was like, oh, that's not what I was expecting. So that's coming up next once we get to the end of this piece. And I think we actually need to cut out some of our blue fabric first. So, my cutting board's over there. I'm going to have to go grab it. So we need to cut out our like 7-inch square. So I'm not sure it needs to be totally 7 inches, but I'm not quite sure. So I'm going to just follow the instructions and we'll make our 7-inch square. And you know what? I think we need a 7-inch square of that middle like star fabric. In the book, it's that bright red fabric. And then we're going to need a 7-inch square of the cream fabric for the background. In my case, it'll be my white fabric. So I suppose I will just cut both of those out at once. So let me just turn my iron on, let that heat up. And once I'm done here, I'm just going to grab my my cutting board, and we will cut out our white and blue 7-inch squares. Then we'll start this applique process. And this is where the glue comes in as well. And we're just going to keep going step by step here. So tomorrow is Thursday. So tomorrow is New Block Thursday. So we'll probably get 4 more blocks introduced to us tomorrow. So we may actually stop this and start a new one. But I don't know. I'm kind of tempted to keep going with this one. So maybe we'll start a new one on Thursday, but maybe we will come back on Friday and work on this one again. I'm not sure yet. But all right, there we go. And I think we're done. Well, no, we're not done with this needle, but I need to put it somewhere so I don't lose it. Let's just get Zeb out here again. Oh, let's get Phil. So here's Phil, my little Fish Museum and Circus pincushion. He can just hang out with us there. He can store our needle for us. But all right, here is our hexagon. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, there we go. See, all our points match really well in the middle there. So yeah, that's looking great. And again, all of the raw edges, the unfolded edges are towards the outside. And now all of our dog ears should kind of twist around nice and flat to make, it almost makes like this cute little pinwheel. And we'll actually, I think I'll just press this too. I'll press that so all the pinwheels lay flat and everything, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to just give it a good little press. So let me go grab my cutting board quick. Okay, so we will we'll press that, and then I will also we'll get that. Oh, let's get a little higher here, you guys. I will get that teal. We need the teal and the white fabric. So let's rearrange a hair here quick. Here are my other templates. We're going to need those soon. Okay, let's go to the iron first, just so we'll press this little hexagon that we did, and then we will, there, all those guys are flat. Then we'll just press our teal and the white fabric. Oh, it looks so good. Man, that extra little pressing helped. So now that's a good looking hexagon right there. Now you can see kind of like that little dog ear pinwheel happen there. So it all lays flat. So you didn't need to cut those off. They're actually, probably good that you keep them there. Okay. Here's my white, and we can do the white and the teal. I think I'm gonna have to get my big square ruler out. Oh yes, so I have three of these guys. They're from Fish Museum and Circus. Deborah, I think is her name, and so we've named them. This guy's Phil. But yeah, so they're these cute little like clay ceramic pincushions. So we got Phil, and we have Zeb here. He's pretty cute. He was my first one that I was able to snag, and then I was finally able to get one of the thread pooping unicorns too. So the thread comes out right there. But isn't he cute? So those are my three guys that I snagged from Deborah of Fish Museum and Circus on Etsy. And you have to get on her newsletter, and she'll say, okay, the things are going to be up at like 2 p.m. on, Saturday the 12th or whatever. And you have to be ready and waiting there. And you have to make sure that you have to buy it with a credit card. Because if you wait to do the PayPal and all that, then it will be gone by the time you go through that process. So you have to, you click buy now really, really quick. When they pop up, you click right away. You don't even choose. You just grab, because they'll literally be gone if you don't just grab. And then you have to click pay now really quick, and then pay with credit card. And you have to have paid with a credit card before, I think, with some or like have your credit card ready in the Etsy system to get already. So if you spend time to punch in all the numbers, then you won't have time to get one either. So they are a little bit of a trick to get, and it took me a long time. It took me like 4 tries to figure that out before I actually was able to get one. Oh, the time difference gets you, Nolene. Yeah. Yeah, I suppose I only have to figure she's Eastern time, so I only have to figure a little bit. I'm only 1 hour from there. That's a little easier. Okay, what side did I just press here? Ugh, this white, I can't tell at all what I just did. Oh well, we'll get it right here. Okay, so I'm gonna lay these on top of each other. I'm not sure what she calls them. I know she calls the unicorns thread pooping unicorns, but the other guys are just, I don't know, maybe they're just like little animal creatures or something. I don't know if she calls them, what she calls those guys. But there's probably not any there. Those are the things that just go away super duper fast. Oh yeah, that's a good idea, Nolene. See if, contact her directly and see if she does any special orders, or maybe she just finished like a craft sale or something and might have some that she didn't relist up on the site yet. I have no idea. But yeah, they're a little tough to snag those. Okay, so So we're going to cut our 7-inch square. Need a rotary cutter here. All right, 7 inches. I'm kind of using my cutting board as a big rotating cutting mat. So let's see, 7, I have to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, I think I'm upside down, but it should still work. I'm doing 2 corners first. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And again, you know, our final size is going to be 6.5. But we're cutting 7. First of all, the instructions say to cut 7 inches. But also, we're going to be handling these a lot. So we're going to be doing applique and all that. And we're going to be grabbing and moving and handling them a lot. And applique kind of keeps pulling the fabric in on itself with every little stitch. So it can shrink a little bit, and that's why we're starting out with 7 inches, and then we will trim it down to the 6.5 inches when we're done with the whole piece. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just gotta test this. Cutting always freaks me out. I suppose it doesn't even have to be perfect because I think these are, you know, it's all going to be trimmed. Okay. Done with all this fabric. That can go on my giant fabric pile. All right, so next up is the part that gets a little, well, not a little, it's a lot different than what I was expecting. So, all right, we don't need our white piece yet, so I'm going to set that aside for now. But we do need this blue piece. So we are going to fold, we need the blue piece, and then we need our template piece, our funny, like, little sprockety star looking piece. And we are going to fold them in half, both ways, so we can get like our center point. So fold the paper star shape in half in both directions and press. So that's what I didn't understand. So they say to press this when we fold it in half both ways, but I don't know why we'd have to press that. So I don't know. We'll see about that. But then we also have to fold this B square, the B square, which is our colorful square, in half in both directions and finger press. So here we go. I'm going to do this in half first, so finger press. Just so we can see like our creases along the way. I'm not really stretching it. And now this way as well. Wow, it's kind of hard. It's a little hard to see this on. This is pretty, oh, on the back I can kind of tell. But I think I need to see the folds on the front. I'm going to try and press it a little bit more. Sometimes different fabrics are just a little bit different. This one just wants to hold its shape a little bit more. It doesn't want to be creased as much. So I'm going to have to work a little to get this crease in here. All right, there I can kind of see. There's my, my center crease there. So, and then I'm going to do the same thing here. So I don't know why we have to press this though. Like maybe it just means like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I have to press this. I don't think I need to. So I'm going to just fold it that way, and then I'm going to just fold it the other way. All right. So there we are. I think that's all we need to do here. And half both directions and press. Fold the B square. Okay, so use the creases to center the paper on the star shape. Center the paper star shape, waxy side down on the right side of the B square and press. So this is the part that's a little goofy, right? So I'm going to press. I'm going to match up these lines and we can do this right on my fabric here. I'm going to match up these lines here with the lines on my fabric, but we are doing, so the waxy side is down. We are pressing it to the front of our fabric here though. So I think I'm all good and lined up there. Let's fuse this. So again, remember this isn't like a fusible interface. This is freezer paper. So we should be able to easily kind of remove this when we're done. Okay, so the next part is where we introduce our petals and also, ooh, I got some threads here. Also the glue. So I'm gonna just grab my Sew Line glue stick here, but you can use a different glue stick. I know some people like that little Elmer's glue. You get Elmer's glue and you have that really fine tip on it. I'm just going to use the glue stick right now. So what we're going to do is, remember we folded over one side of this, so we have that exposed side and then we have the side that we starched and folded over. We're going to put some glue on the fold. You don't want to put it in here or here, you just want it on that seam allowance there. And then we are going to glue it to our fabric. So kind of like that. And we're going to use this as a guide, this shape. So we're going to go, I'm going to just kind of place, these are those double ones. Remember the double ones? One looks like there's one down here and the other up here. So let's just kind of see where we want these other ones. I'm just going to kind of place them and see what happens. I'm not really making any decisions, but I think that's pretty cute, just like that. So we're going to glue these down, and then we're going to just applique it to the back piece here. So yeah, we're going to just use this as a guide. And I think we keep this on during the applique process, but I don't know, I mean, like that, I think that would kind of get this fabric in the way, but it sounds like we leave this on while we applique. Maybe do this one at a time. Let's see. Position the petals on the B square using the paper star shape as a guide and placing the folded edge of the petals next to the paper shape. So the folded edge is the side that we starched. Applique the petals in place along the folded edge. Remove the paper star. Okay, apply small dots of glue to the folded seam allowance. So yeah, so we're positioning all of these at once, it sounds like. So let's just do it, I suppose. See how it goes. I'm going to do this on a hard surface. I think that'll be helpful. All right. So let's dab on the glue. I'm just getting it on the seam allowance bit. Yeah, Valerie, that's what I'm talking about. This is not at all what I was thinking either. I thought we were going to wrap fabric around this guy and we were going to applique these pieces to it. But nope, we are gluing them down and then stitching them to the background. Totally not what I was thinking. Yeah, well, actually, I'm not sure. Let's see, I think the center's a little bit different too. It is not exactly like this. Oh yeah, so this is what we're doing. So next, this is kind of funny. So next, we're going to take this off and actually put it on the back. And then we will cut out this hole and we will starch this to the applique piece here. So we'll just kind of have a hole in the whole thing. And then we're going to lay it on top of our hexagon and then applique this big piece to our hexagon. Kind of goofy. Like I've never done anything like that before. So I'm kind of stoked for this block. And yeah, maybe we will continue this tomorrow. We'll see. I mean, we will, in theory, have new blocks, but who knows? Maybe it'll be just bonus blocks or something. And I haven't been doing the bonus blocks. So if it is just bonus blocks, we'll for sure continue on this. If it's new blocks, we'll take a look at them, but maybe we will continue this. Maybe we'll try and do start one of the new blocks. Let's try and center this. But yeah, this one's a little kind of silly. Not silly in a bad way, just like something I would have never thought of doing it like this. So I'm going to just continue gluing these guys down. I'm not 100% confident in this glue holding all this, but we're going to give it a try still. we're going to try and stitch them down as quick as we can. But yeah, if we have to wait till Friday, then I suppose. Yeah, so it looks like it's already 9:30 here. So we'll go around these yet tonight just to glue them down. And then either tomorrow or Friday, we will start appliquing them. You would take this template off before appliquing the petals. That's kind of what I was thinking, Suzanne. But she said in the instructions it says remove it when it's done. So I don't know. I'm wondering if maybe that's in case one of my petals falls off while I'm stitching, but I'm not sure. Yeah, because it would be kind of difficult to applique this. I'm kind of leaving a tiny little air gap there, but not really. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll just see if it gets in the way as we stitch, and if it does, then, we can probably still remove it. Oh, you would remove the paper under the petals. Oh, yeah, you know what? That might not be a bad idea. I didn't think about doing that yet. Does it say to do that yet? Center the paper star shape. Okay, where do they want us to get rid of those? That is a good question. You know what, you guys? I will read ahead again and see if there's any specific place that they say to remove these petals. Because, yeah, we really could remove the templates, I mean. We really could remove the templates now, and that might make it a little easier to stitch on, because then we're not stitching, with a template. We just have fabric to deal with. Oh, the petal papers just tend to fall out? Oh, maybe as we're appliquing this, well, maybe I'll just, yeah, so we'll glue them down tonight. I'll let it sit here, and then maybe I'll give this another press just to, maybe that'll secure the glue a little bit more. And then, yeah, maybe we'll just pull those petals out, because, yeah, you're right, I'm not sure why we would need them in anymore. I'm going to look ahead, you guys. So I only read, man, I've been horrible at reading instructions on this one. I think it's just because I can ingest only a little bit of these instructions at once because it's so different to me. So I will read the rest of the instructions and see if there's any place that she specifically says now is the best time to take the templates out. And if not, maybe we will take them out before we start stitching. But we're definitely getting a feel for it now. I do want to give this, I don't know why, but I feel like I need to give this a little press. Maybe that'll help the glue just stay secure or something, I don't know. But yeah, really at this point, we probably don't need those templates in anymore. Yeah, because this is going to be real difficult to applique on with, things popping off all over the place. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Yes, so Catherine, we do need this shape yet, so don't wreck this shape at all. We actually need to take this off and use it on the back of this piece yet. It's so goofy. I'm excited to just kind of see how this ends up, but I mean, we are definitely starting to get a look here. Oh, I think it was like this. And these will be kind of in here, like maybe like that. It's gonna be cute. Oh, I like it. It's gonna be just real sweet. And then this will be on the background. It'll be like white, and then then the blue will be underneath here instead. But look, we can start to see where all those cute little shapes, all those points are gonna just line up really well. It looks like. There we go. Cute. Fancy. All right. So tomorrow we will just keep going with here. Oh, wait, maybe not tomorrow. Tomorrow is New Block Thursday, so we'll see how that goes, if there's a new block or not, or if it's a bonus block, or, if we get 4 new blocks, and we'll just see. Maybe we'll start that, but I don't know. I'm tempted to just keep going with this. We're kind of like in the middle of it, I don't want to stop. Although it is going to take a while, it'll take at least a good night to applique this, maybe 2, so we actually won't get to the next step real quick. But I kind of want to keep going with this one because I feel like if I don't, I'm gonna forget how it all goes. thought tomorrow was Wednesday. Is tomorrow Wednesday? Is today Wednesday? No, tomorrow's Thursday. Wait. I think tomorrow's Thursday. You're messing me up. I'm getting all my days confused lately. So, all right, guys, I'm going to flip you around, and we'll end it here tonight. You wouldn't leave the glue on too many days. The nice thing about the glue is that it's not going to matter so much because we just put it on the seam allowance. So it's not going to be in our way. Even if the glue became permanent, it would be fine because our piece is still going to be raised off of the background because we are only having it on the seam allowance. So, all right, there we go. It is coming together. I'm pretty happy about that. Man, you guys I seriously have no idea if it's Tuesday or Wednesday now. Now that you're talking about it, I think it's Wednesday. And then tomorrow, yep, I think it's Wednesday here. It's one of those days. So, all right, I am going to get this up on YouTube at Penguin and Fish Movies, and check it over again if you like, because this was kind of that weird step in this whole process, and we did do the English paper piecing. So if you didn't do English paper piecing before, it'd be good to check this out again. So that'll be on YouTube at Penguin and Fish Movies, and if you click subscribe and then the bell button, it'll let you know, like it should email you when it's live if you wanted to check it out then. Well, not live, but when it's uploaded. And then I will be here tomorrow again at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. We'll take a look at those new blocks and decide if we're continuing with this or moving on with a new block. At least all the pieces are cut out now, so that's good. So, all right, guys, have a great evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.